In a sit-down interview with GQ, Andrew Garfield was asked to talk a little bit about his Spider-Man, his Spidey's past, and how that character would interact with many MCU stars. One thing that was specifically brought up was the Amazing Spider-Man interacting in the same type of way that Tom Holland's Spider-Man does with Iron Man, aka Tony Stark. And Andrew Garfield says, yeah, no, my Spider-Man would not like that guy. So Andrew Garfield, when asked, how do you think your Spider-Man would have perceived Iron Man if it was you in the MCU and you guys had to share those scenes, and what would the chemistry be like? What would the scenes be like? He says that had it been his Spider-Man that crossed over into the MCU, he feels that he would be pretty suspect of Iron Man, that he would be turned off by his approach to everything, to the way he presents himself, the spotlight, me, the quirkiness, the constant barrage of witty quips, even in a situation where it doesn't seem like it belongs, it's constantly being thrown out at you, and that it's one of these things that just doesn't really click with what they were doing with that Spider-Man. And specifically, to wake up to this world where Tony Stark is about his own ego, as he says, and he's ego-driven. But then he ends it by saying, unfortunately, we will never know or get to see it because, well, we will literally never get to know because it can never happen. And that's sort of the end of it. And, you know, I do get the sense that he's honestly telling the truth here in regards to how his Peter Parker would have worked in terms of joining the MCU, because we know they wanted to try to make it a possibility. You know, with TASM 1, Marvel Studios tried. Sony wouldn't have it. Marvel Studios then turned Sony down around TASM 2 because they didn't want to pick up all the baggage of the second film and everything they were doing that would contradict everything. So it's one of those things where had his character joined after TASM 1, that specific iteration of the character would not have worked at all, especially the mashup of those worlds and things going on and how the different pieces connect. And I definitely do think that his Spider-Man would have been massively turned off by Tony Stark around every turn. Like, you could definitely see a moment where Andrew's talking about everything he's lost and things that have happened, and, you know, Gwen, and out of nowhere, Stark just drops a joke about, I don't know, free fall or something, and he's just like, what? Like, it doesn't work in the context of the Amazing Spider-Man at all. That type of vibe that he delivers, that works for the MCU with Tony Stark, because the characters are written to react to him, they had to build it up to that and make sure it's themed properly. It's just like the Rhino fight and all the Rhino moments in TASM 2. They don't work because they feel like they're out of a different film. That's what Tony Stark would feel like. That's what Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tony would feel like. Two opposite worlds colliding and it just doesn't gel.